In this video, I'm going to teach you how I make my pumpkin patch coaster basket. In case you didn't know, my name is Pauline from KnotFastFashion. If you would like the written pattern, you can get down in my description via my Etsy or Ravelry. Without further ado, let's get crafting. Okay, we're gonna start with our magic ring. I'm gonna chain 2. Chain 2 is gonna count as our first double crochet, and we want a total of 12 double crochets into our magic ring. So again, chain 2 counts as one of our double crochet. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, we're going to pull on our magic ring to close it up, and then we're going to slip stitch into our chain 2. I'm going to use this tail and tuck it right next to where I'm working on that chain 2 so that we can crochet around the string so we don't have an extra end to weave it. So we're just going to slip stitch, and you can see I have my tail next to it. Okay, on to round 2. Chain 2 counts as our first double crochet, so we're going to first chain 2, and we're going to increase double crochet into every stitch in this round. So because chain 2 counts as one of our double crochet, we're going to double crochet into the same stitch where we slip stitched in the previous round. So just to kind of show you closer up what that looks like, so that's right in this slot right here, and here we're working around our yarn tails so that it gets tucked in as we go. So that's our first increased double crochet. And for a second increased double crochet, we're working 2 double crochet into every stitch. And repeat that all the way around the circle. As you're working, make sure to hold your yarn tail right next to your work so that you can tuck it in as you go. We're going to end our round by slip stitching into our chain 2. Or into the top of our chain 2, I should say. Okay, round 3, same thing applies as round 2. Chain 2 counts as our first double crochet. And in this round, we are doing double crochet increase, okay, so that's our first repeat for round 3. We're gonna start our second repeat, so double crochet, and then double crochet increase, and then repeat that all the way around your circle. So just like before, we're going to slip stitch to end our round. So that's round 3. If you're making a teacup size coaster, you would just fasten off, cut the yarn, and end here. But if you're making a mug size, you're going to follow what I'm doing here. So we're going to chain 2, again counts as our first double crochet. We're going to do a repeat of 2 double crochet and double crochet increase. Again, chain 2 counts as a double crochet. We're going to work our next double crochet into the stitch. So that's 2 double crochet, and then we're going to increase double crochet into our next stitch. So that's our first repeat of round 4. I'm gonna do one more repeat to show you. So we're gonna do 2 double crochet, 1 and 2. Then we're going to do increased double crochet, And then we're going to repeat that until we get to the end of the circle. And then to close out round 4, we're just going to slip stitch to the top of our chain 2. And now we're going to cut the yarn and fasten off. Okay, we're going to start our vines, so we can attach our yarn to any place along our circle using a slip stitch. Then we're going to chain 5. And that forms our vine. Then we're going to skip 2 stitches, and into that 3rd stitch we're going to do a 5 half double crochet popcorn. So yarn over, insert hook into this stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. That is our first half double crochet. And then we're going to work 4 more half double crochets into that same space. 1, that's 2, and as you're working, keep these relatively looser because you're going to work into these half double crochets later. That's 3, and that's 4. Okay, so right now we have 5 half double crochets into that same stitch. We're going to insert our hook into the chain before our first half double crochet. So you see where this top of this V is, and then there's a little loop under it. We're going to insert our hook between that slot. So flip this over, you can see that there's 1 strand of yarn beneath and 2 loops right here. We're going to grab our active loop and we're going to pull it through that space, pull our yarn snug, and that is our first 5 half double crochet popcorn. Then we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to slip stitch into the stitch next to our 5 half double crochet popcorn. It's right here. So you're going to repeat the sequence all the way around the circle. For the mug size coaster, that will be a total of 12 of these. So again, starting with chain 5, we're going to skip 2, and into the 3rd stitch we're going to half double crochet, and then do 4 more half double crochet to form our 5 half double crochet popcorn. And then we're going to insert our hook into that space right here. Then we're going to hook our active loop and pull it through that space, pull our yarn snug. We're going to chain 2 and then slip stitch into that stitch next to where we 5 half double crochet popcorn. And again, you'll repeat until you have a total of 12 of these. Okay, so to fasten off, we're just going to slip stitch to where we initially slip stitched. And then we can cut the yarn and fasten off. So to create our pumpkin, we're going to be working into all the stitches of our half double crochet popcorns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, starting with this back one right here. So to do this, we're going to start by creating a slip knot with our orange yarn. And we're going to yarn over and insert our hook into this back stitch right here. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now that's actually a standing double crochet. You can also just attach the yarn and chain 2, but I find this looks a little bit cleaner. And then we're going to do a puff stitch with 9 loops total. So we're going to yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull up, we have 3 loops. Yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, we have 5 loops. Yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull up, we have 7 loops. Yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull up, you have a total of 9 loops. Alright, we're going to yarn over and pull through our first 8 loops, yarn over, and then pull through 2 loops. So that's our first puff stitch, and we're going to do a total of 5 puff stitches, one for every stitch in our 5 half double crochet popcorn. So we're going to start again, yarn over, insert hook into our stitch, yarn over, pull up, 3 loops, yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull up, that's 5 loops, yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull up, that's 7 loops, yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull up, we have 9 loops, pulled through 8 of them, yarn over and then pull through 8 of them, yarn over, pull through last 2. Okay, so hopefully you get the general idea. We're going to repeat until we have puffs on every stitch. Once we have our 5 puff stitches done, we're going to optionally add a stitch marker, or you can just leave this yarn hanging. And we're going to start our stem. We're going to start by creating a slip knot and adding that to our hook. And we're going to insert our hook into the space between our double crochet and our first puff. So we're going to yarn over, pull that yarn up through the pumpkin, and then into the space between the next 2 puffs, we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. We have 3 loops, and we're going to repeat for all the other spaces between the puffs. So for a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So insert hook, yarn over, pull up, that's 4, yarn over, pull up, that's 5, and then for the last one, yarn over, pull up, that's 6. Now that we have 6 loops, we're going to yarn over and pull through all 6 loops that are currently on our hook. And then we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to grab the tail of our stem, and then we're going to hold our fingers in the middle of the active loop like this, grab our tail, and pull the yarn to tighten. So, and then tie an additional knot for added security. So that concludes our stem. For the pumpkin, we're going to close it up by removing our stitch marker, and then we're going to grab our active loop like we did with the stem, find the tail that we started with for the pumpkin. I'm going to tuck the yarn pieces from the stem down here. We're going to loop the active loop through this yarn tail and then pull it tight to close, like so. Alright, and then create one more knot for added security, and then you'll want to cut the yarn and weave in all of your excess ends. Okay, so you're gonna want to repeat this for all of the little places to add your pumpkins. make our basket, we're gonna start with our magic ring. We're going to chain 1. Chain 1 does not count as a stitch, and we're going to work 10 half double crochet into this magic ring. So we're going to pull our tail, and then we're going to slip stitch to our first stitch. And then make sure your tail is as tight as possible. On to round 2, we're going to start with chain 1. We're going to work 2 half double crochet into the same stitch for increased half double crochet, and then repeat that for every single stitch. So to close out our round 2, we're just going to slip stitch to the top of our first stitch. Okay, for round 3, we're going to chain 1. We're going to half double crochet and then increase half double crochet. So 2 half double crochet into this same stitch, and then you're going to repeat that until you have 30 stitches total all the way around the circle. We're going to close out by slip stitching to the top of our first stitch. And then for round 4, we're going to do 2 half double crochet, so 1 and 2, and then we're going to increase half double crochet into our next stitch. So that is 4, and we're going to repeat that 10 times around the circle for a total of 40 stitches. And then we're going to slip stitch to the top of our first stitch. On to round 5, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do 3 half double crochet and increase half double crochet. So half double crochet, half double crochet, half double crochet, so that's 3 half double crochets. Then increase half double crochet into that next stitch. And we're going to repeat this 10 times around the circle for a total of 50 stitches. For round 6, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do 4 half double crochet and then increase half double crochet. So that's one repeat of round 6, and we're going to repeat that 10 times. So for the next part, we're going to start building up the sides of our basket. So start with a slip stitch, and then we're going to work into the 3rd loops of our basket. So notice how there's a V to the side right here. On the part just above it is this bar, and this bar is our 3rd loop. So we're going to slip stitch into every 3rd loop in our basket. And make sure to do this kind of loosely so that it still lies flat at the end. Okay, so again, to locate our 3rd loop, locate where that V is, and then flip it over to the back and grab the bar. And you're going to repeat this until you have a total of 60. Okay, for this next round, we're going to double crochet into every stitch. So we didn't join the previous round, we just worked a slip stitch into all the 3rd loops, and then we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to double crochet, making sure to go under the where we slip stitch into this hole right here. So hopefully you did the slip stitch round loosely so that you're able to work into that stitch. So our first stitch is right here, so we're going to work a double crochet and then just work a double crochet into every next stitch, making sure to go under where you slip stitch. So essentially picking up that 3rd loop again. And what that does is that it creates a very sturdy base for our basket. Once you've reached the end of your double crochets, you're going to slip stitch to your chain 2. For the next row of our basket side, we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to work into the front post of the next 3 stitches. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook behind this post, so inserting into the space and then coming out through the side, yarn over, and then pull up the yarn, and then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's our first front post, and we're going to do 2 more. So again, yarn over, insert hook behind this post, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Second, and then our third one. And then for the next 3 stitches, we're going to work into the back post. So again, you're going to yarn over, and then instead of inserting around the front, we're going to move our hook behind our work, and then move our hook in front of this post, and then behind through to the other side. Then we're going to yarn over, pull up the yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That's our first back post. And then we're going to yarn over, insert our hook behind right here, and then in front of this post, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That's our second back post, and then you repeat for your last back post. Okay, so you're going to repeat 3 front posts double crochets and 3 back post double crochets around this circle for a total of 10 times. For our last stitch of this round, we're just going to slip stitch to the top of our chain 2. We're going to chain 2, and then we're going to repeat what we did. So 3 front posts double crochet, and then 3 back posts double crochet. And you're going to repeat this until you get all the way around the circle. We're going to start with chain 2. And instead of working front posts and then back posts, we're going to inverse it and start with 3 back posts double crochet. So 1, 2, and then 3. And then we're going to work 3 front post double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to repeat that all the way around the circle. To close out this round, we're going to slip stitch to our chain 2. So we're going to chain 2 and then work 3 back post double crochet, and then 3 front post double crochet. And then you're going to repeat that 6 more times all the way around the circle. Okay, so to close out our this last round, we're going to slip stitch. If you want to make this basket taller, you can repeat these rows to make it as tall as you want, but we're going to end it here. For this next row, we're going to be adding handles, which is optional. I'll show you how you might plan them out and do them. So I'm going to start by marking where I'm going to place my handles. So I want my handles to be about this width, and I'm going to find the equivalent side over here and mark that with a stitch marker. And then I'm going to chain 10 for my handles. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to skip about 6 stitches and slip stitch on the other side of here. So approximately about 6 stitches right here. And we're going to repeat the other thing on the other side. If you want to not have handles, you can just single crochet into all of these stitches. And then we're just going to single crochet until the next part of where we want to create our handles. Okay, I just single crocheted to where I want my next handle, so I'm going to chain 10 again. And then I'm going to slip stitch to the end point of my handle, and then I'm going to single crochet until I reach the beginning of the round. We're going to create an edging for our basket. So we finished this round just by single crocheting. There was no join. We're just going to chain 1, and then we're going to work reverse single crochet into all our stitches, so until we reach this handle. So we're gonna work single crochet. We're gonna skip this first one and work into the second by inserting our hook carefully into the stitch as such. And rather than yarning over, we're yarning under, pulling our yarn through that hole, bringing our work up, yarning over this time, and then pulling our yarn through those 2 loops. So that's our first reverse single crochet. We're going to repeat in every stitch until we reach our handle. So insert your hook into this next stitch, yarn under, pull yarn through all the way to the top, yarn over, pull through 2. We'll do one more together. So insert hook into this next stitch to your right, yarn under, pull yarn up and over, yarn over, and then pull through 2. So I'll meet you when we reach the other handle. We just finished reverse single crocheting into all the stitches along the side of the basket. We're going to work about 15 reverse single crochet onto this handle. You can do more if you want a stiffer handle, but I find that 15 is a good number to keep it flexible yet still with some structure. So to do that, we're just going to be working around this chain right here. So rather than inserting our hook into any of the individual stitches, we're just going to be working around it. So I'm going to insert my hook underneath this chain. I'm going to yarn under, pull my yarn up, 2 loops, so I'm going to yarn over and then pull through those 2 loops. So that's my first one. Again, we're inserting our hook under, yarning under, bringing our yarn up, and then yarning over and then pulling through 2. So again, you're going to do 15 of these. I'll meet you at the end of it. That's a total of 15 reverse single crochet, and we're just going to continue working around all these single crochet to reverse single crochet into every single one of these. I'll meet you at the next handle. Okay, so for this next handle, we're going to do the same thing we did here. We're going to reverse single crochet 15 into our chain, or around our chain, I should say. So again, we are inserting our hook under our chain, yarning under, pulling our yarn above the chain, yarning over, and then pulling through 2. So you're going to do a total of 15 of these. Okay, now that we've finished our 15, we're going to pull a tail and cut the yarn, and then we're just going to pull the yarn through and wrap it around the edging a couple times to hide the tail. So try to wrap it in the same direction as the rest of your work. If you followed this tutorial along with me, congrats! You now have a cute basket of pumpkin coasters to decorate your coffee or dining table. If you're on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, I'd love to see your finished work, so please tag me at KnotFastFashion when you post about it. If you liked this tutorial, you're gonna love my Enchanted Leaves pillow design, so check it out right here. Have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you again soon.